zombies, although it is much more difficult to down. This makes it difficult to tell if someone is cheating, although there is a drawback with using demigod mode. You see, while on round 153, Wings would take his first down. At first, everything looks normal until you can see the horde of zombies staying where he downed. On a normal game, this does not happen. Instead, the zombies will walk in.
Every Call of Duty is gonna have at least some number of remakes, ranging from 1 or 2 reimaginings released in the final months of support, or like that one year where it released with all remakes. You guys remember that launch week? That was fun. Sometimes they get it really right, like Hacienda, for example, a standout map in a game that didn't get enough praise at the time, now given new life, even if they seem to suck that life out of the art direction in the process. But other times, they kind of missed the mark by, I would say, a battleship-sized margin. Like, who the fuck asked for USS Texas back? I'm still pissed off about this. Of all World War II maps, you could have done Point the Hawk, you could have done St. Maurice, Valkyrie, Dunkirk, I remember I really liked. USS Texas, though? And so every year, we have people doing just as I just did, asking desperately for the return of just about every map under the sun. Bring back the Pines! You know, it's been way too long since we had another Standoff remake. Hey, how come we haven't seen Yemen come back yet? BO7 would be perfect if they just carried forward Stakeout. Where's the McRib? But I personally have a dark horse pick for the next map that I want to see get a remake, remaster, or reimagining. And if you can believe it, it just so happens to be the real subject of today's video, Kowloon. But real quick before we get into it, you may have noticed that I have significantly less hair currently than I did in that last shot that you just saw. And the reason for that is very simple. Very easy to explain. I pulled it all out. See, I recently went back to play some Warzone on my decades-old PC for a separate video, and I gotta tell you, between the jittering and the lag, it was pretty aggravating. But thankfully, lag can be a thing of the past. Today's sponsor, Exit Lag. Exit Lag fully optimizes your gaming experience. AI route optimization, multi-path connection, and diagnostic center to ensure a seamless connection to servers. With over 2,000 supported games, including some of the biggest heavy hitters, Fortnite, Battlefield, Counter-Strike, and most Call of Duty titles, Exit Lag is essential to stabilize your connection. Plus, it's stupid simple to set up. All you gotta do is download the software, make an account, set your games, and Exit Lag will do the rest, optimizing your performance so you can focus on getting that done, which in my case is actually just what I named my loadout. See how easy that was? Oh, dang it. We also happen to be running a Black Friday warm-up sale at the moment, so you can click that link down in the description and you'll get 50% off any annual solo, duo, or squad plan. So once again, thank you so much to Exit Lag for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video. Dropped back in 2011 as part of the first Black Ops DLC, aptly and badassly titled First Strike, Kowloon takes place in Hong Kong, 1968 or so. And the first thing that you'll notice on touching down on these slippery, rusted rooftops is that this map is just special, man. It's got a certain vibe to it, a personality, clear direction. Much anymore. The grunge, the clutter, it just feels lived in. The darkness brought on by the storm offset by the bright flashing neon lights and lightning in the distance drawing your eyes. But you better watch your step because there are no handrails. I repeat, this is not ADA compliant. You will be hearing from my lawyer, and if you aren't careful while walking around this place, you can easily lose your balance and end up falling to the barely textured ground below. And that actually brings me to the first of my 27-point presentation on why it needs to be remade immediately. I mean, just tell me that this wouldn't look just spectacular on an updated engine. Trust me, I've been to film school, and I know that the first class you have to take there is literally about how anything that's wet, at night, and illuminated by a neon sign immediately gets nominated for a cinematography award. It's actually kind of shocking to me that we haven't seen too many, like, stormy or otherwise inclement weather maps in recent years. The big two that I'm thinking of are WAW-BOIII and Paleo's Lighthouse, both of which look incredible. Lighthouse being this nighttime infiltration set on a deserted island that I remember you could actually swim all the way around, and I think they even had a hard point on this little shipwreck off the coast, which is a really cool idea. And that's, well, yeah, it was a really cool idea. WAW-BOIII, though, I kinda fuck with. And honestly, this might be a hot take, but the game that this was from, Vanguard, actually had some of the best launch maps of all time. But sorry, anyway, back to Kowloon. One of the biggest reasons that this map just oozes atmosphere and character like this is because it's based directly off of the campaign mission Numbers. That's right, the Numbers. What do they mean? So it's an actual place. You know, it has a real purpose in the story and a reason to exist, grounding it in the world a little bit. Also, fun fact about this Numbers mission is that you could do a little Easter egg on it to actually get the Thunder Gun here in the single player, which actually made a lot of people think that we'd end up eventually with getting a Kowloon Zombies map. And thankfully, it only took about 2 years before all of our prayers were answered with Die Rise. Yeah, 2013 wasn't the best time to be a Kowloon stan, looking back. Now, I'm not gonna lie though, I didn't really remember a whole lot of this map's layout until I actually jumped back in to start making this video. Like, I straight up forgot about just how many little cut-throughs and hidden passageways there were between areas, including ledges that were pretty pointless to go to other than a quick camping spot. It is a really weird kind of time capsule going back here to a time when campers were actually allowed, or honestly even encouraged, to set up shop just wherever the hell on the map they wanted before they were run out of town in, like, what, 2015? At what point did these little, like, safe spaces disappear? I feel like it wasn't long after Kowloon. Then, pitched toward each spawn are 2 big holes in the middle of the playable space, adding a bit more peril to your daily commute and creating some interesting broken pathways that you need to jump or parkour your way around. And this map really did have just a crazy amount of verticality to it. It seems like most optimal paths anywhere required you to jump, mantle, ladder, or dolphin dive at least once along the way. And that's actually my next main point for why this would be a perfect fit for a game like Black Ops 7. See, if this was the kind of layout that Treyarch was able to make back then, just imagine what they could do with all the new movement mechanics that we've added since, like sliding, omni dives, wall bounces, and ledge hanging, maybe? Was ledge hanging in BO7? I don't think I actually bothered checking. The map's actual flow, though, generally followed the tried and true King of the Hill style, where there's a main building or cluster that everyone gravitates to. In this case, it's the Monkey Room, named that after all my little monkey friends who... Oh, fuck, one escaped. I gotta call someone. Hey, look, if you guys happen to see a monkey running around in the background for the rest of this video, please let me know. Don't even bother with a comment. It'll be too late by then. Just shout it out like I'm Dora the Explorer, okay? I'll hear you. Don't... Everything's gonna be fine. And one cool added mechanic that Kowloon had were actually these zip lines that run from the Monkey Room out into each spawn, letting you cross the map super fast and completely fuck up your team's spawn trap and domination, Kevin. I will say though, this is the first time that COD put zip lines into a multiplayer map, and it really shows. Hopping on this thing gives me just instant motion sickness, and I'm pretty sure I might need a tetanus shot now. The big Hong Kong sign next to the Monkey Room is another big point of contention throughout the game, with everyone fighting to get on top of what's probably the best power position on the map just in terms of overall tone of vision. It kind of reminds me of High Rise's rooftop, but like a lot easier to get up onto. Like stupid easy. It's just a ladder. Then as far as the rest of the map goes, there are of course definitely some other buildings and rooms to get lost in, but for the most part, none are real destinations as much as they are hallways to keep you moving, sprinting past shoddy electrical work and unlabeled x-rays, just thankful for the small break from the rain. But all these areas are mostly kind of just nondescript. Like, I'm pretty sure that this is some kind of a power station, maybe? And this one's a public restroom? Oh, and this one's a hardware store that's had a lot of returns lately. It's definitely the kind of map that's tight and windy, with a million flanking routes to watch at all times, which can be a bit much at times, I'll admit. But for this game that actually didn't have a ton of maps like this, I actually really liked the change of pace. And honestly, that's what I love most about Black Ops 1's DLC, because just about every new map that they added brought in some kind of new element to the map pool, right? Next to Kowloon, you had a slightly smaller map in Stadium, which had a very specific circular flow around a center courtyard. Huh, you know, I never noticed that that thing actually spins. And why is this poster sideways? And then there was Berlin Wall, a much larger our side versus their side map that had a massive wall in between them, with only 3 choke points to actually cross, and anyone who ventured too far from those points would be killed by automatic Gatling guns mounted on the wall itself. It's such a cool and unique idea, whose layout was tightly woven in with its setting. This map was also the backdrop of what legitimately might be my favorite COD trailer of all time, which, if you haven't seen before, please look this thing up. It's incredible. It's a music video about 2 soldiers caught on opposite sides of the wall, and it is fully animated with the character models, and it's just perfection. There's a point where the Spetsnaz guy catches a snowflake, and it turns into a dove that he throws out, and it gets shot by that turret while the other guy cries. There's a fucking flame-throwing guitar, man. It's incredible. And lastly, there was Discovery, which, even though it was one of the more standard maps in the game, still had these snowbanks that you could destroy, fucking with how the map flowed as the match continued on. It was also the original map to feature the Northern Lights, which gives it a nice, unique glow compared to the other snowy maps in the game. You know, there were some insanely creative ideas in here, and that's the kind of thing that just gets me excited. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love for some more standard maps from back in the day to be remade too. You know, give me Meltdown or Combine any day of the week. You know, I wouldn't be mad at those being brought back. But I feel like we've seen maps just like those a dozen times since. But meanwhile, there has never been another map like Kowloon. It simply doesn't exist. And I really wish that we could see... Oh, fuck. I found the monkey. He's dancing? He's taunting me. What? No, don't. He hit the button to display all the channel members. Oh, no. What's that? Through interpretive dance, you're telling us that you can become a channel member for only 99 cents a month and get exclusive videos and other cool stuff? Oh, get out of here, monkey. Shoo. Yeah, guys, I'm really sorry about that. I'm gonna have to get him. Just click to the next video, man. What the fuck are we doing here? After witnessing the rise, fall, and then I think rise again of the Call of Duty franchise over the last decade and a half, I've noticed a certain pattern emerge when it comes to, quote, innovation. Every single year, the game will add a couple of brand new elements to it. Things like blind fire, zip lines, or tier list perks that the trailers would make you believe is a major new part of the game. Like everyone's just gonna be ledge hanging and pistol drawing on their way to rescue a prisoner from this guy. But in reality, about 90% of these new mechanics are just forgotten and abandoned by the player base within weeks or days of actual people getting their hands on it. Which brings us to Black Ops 6, where I think we have a new frontrunner in overhyped concepts, a new candidate for the most forgotten new feature in a Call of Duty game. That's right, I'm talking about the human shield. Sorry, did you think I meant something else, or? But that got me thinking about more of these old mechanics from older Call of Duty games. Things that were once hailed as innovation to a tired formula, but ended up being nothing but an abandoned talking point left in the restroom at COD Next. But some of them I think deserve another look. So today, I'm gonna shine a light on a few that need to make a comeback. And also a couple that I think just no one even knew was in the game at the time. I split this video up into a couple different parts. I'd tell you exactly how many, but I forgot. And the first part I have titled Game Changers, in quotes, to show that I'm being sarcastic. These are for things that somehow changed the way that the game is played, consumed, digested, or regurgitated by a community manager somewhere, and are usually pitched as the next best thing. The thing that the series will latch onto for years to come. And with a bit of luck, it'll become as synonymous with COD as guns, perks, and burnout. If you still don't get it, don't worry, I have a pretty good example. You know how Advanced Warfare added jetpacks to the game, right? This brand new mechanic that completely overhauled gunfights. So that now, when you round a corner and came face to face with someone else, forget panic knifing, now people were panic blasting off into lower orbit. So jetpacks, perfect example of not what I mean. Jetpacks actually did change the game. The quotes, get rid of them. No longer sarcastic. Like, obviously everyone remembers jetpacks and the espresso stain that it left on the franchise that took nearly 3 years of dry cleaning to get out. Instead, I'm talking about a different, albeit smaller feature that Advanced Warfare introduced that I don't ever see anyone talk about anymore. And that is customizable kill streaks. Now make no mistake, this isn't just like selecting which streaks you want to compete for like every game post-inception, but specifically in Advanced Warfare, they introduced a feature that let you customize the streaks themselves, making them more or less powerful and changing the score cost accordingly. For example, on the UAV, you could add extra time or enemy direction arrows to it. Then on care packages, you could literally spend points to get better odds, which ironically is only the second most casino for kids-esque feature of that game. But this idea was never really followed up on, and to be honest, I don't disagree with their decision to abandon it because, honestly, like, who cares? But one forgotten feature that actually was later iterated upon and is currently, like, the DNA of Call of Duty is something called the lean from Call of Duty Ghosts. In this game, the lean was contextual, meaning that there wasn't an actual button press. You just had to approach a leanable surface in ADS, kind of like Rainbow Six's leaning, but softened, like most things that COD does compared to other FPS titles. That's right, eat your heart out, corner splicing and mounting. COD Ghosts was doing this shit before Woods was even in a wheelchair. Okay, so slight correction that I didn't realize until after I made that part of the video is that COD Ghosts actually came out 1 year after BO2, which is the one where Woods was placed in the wheelchair. So, unfortunately, I am going to have to hand in my letter of resignation from the Call of Duty Historians Commission of America. My badge will be in the mail, and for now, here's my gun. It's a blueprint. I got it at a casino for kids. Now, a bit broader, but something else that kind of made a comeback as something better brings us to Call of Duty Elite, which was a paid service back in the original MW3 that you would buy in addition to the main game, kind of similar to a season pass. That would get you all of the DLCs on a monthly drop basis. This meant that Elite subscribers would get early access to such fan-favorite maps as Boardwalk, Intersection, and Don't tell me I know this one. Now, obviously, this system is very similar to what we have now with free seasonal updates, except, you know, they're free now. And although I doubt that Activision really sold too many subscriptions of COD Elite, you know, given that it never returned after this game, I do think that it helped pave the way for the kind of seasonal progression that we have now.
How do you get this party started? How do you disappoint your mom?
What else do I got here? Oh, Infinite Warfare mission teams. So Infinite Warfare is already arguably the most forgotten COD, but there's actually one really cool system in multiplayer that I think people really didn't give a fair shake. I mean, I know I didn't. And that is mission teams. These were like factions that you could join in multiplayer and level up, doing challenges and earning unique rewards depending on which one you join. Almost like gyms in Pokemon Go, I think. I never really played Pokemon Go or Advanced Warfare for that fact. So you know what? Just don't even listen to me. And then there's strike chains from the original Modern Warfare 3 that desperately need to make a comeback. This was a unique kill streak system that let you choose between 3 different ways of earning streaks. There was the assault strike chain, which is exactly like normal. You get kills, you earn kill streaks. You die, it resets to 0. But then there was the support strike chain, which was generally full of less lethal kill streaks, but your progress toward those streaks wasn't reset on death. And then there was the specialist strike chain, which awarded you perks every 2 kills that you got instead of traditional streaks. And after like 10 or so, the game would just say, fuck it, here's every perk in the game, and you were like fucking Superman. It was incredible. Loved it. And honestly, it was pretty well balanced back in the day, and actually added a bit of variety to your streaks that I don't think we see too much anymore. And I don't know how it's not back. It seems like such a no-brainer to me. Like, Specialist came back in 2019. We had support streaks for everyone back in Cold War. Let's just give people the option, you know? I loved this shit. Bring it back, please. And lastly, there's night vision. And now, yes, 2019 did have their own night versions of some launch maps, and even MW22 seemed to accidentally drop one randomly in its year too. But I'm actually talking about all the way back in the original Call of Duty 4, where no matter the map, you could always hit up on the D-pad to turn night vision on. A feature that 100% of people only used when accidentally smashing their controller against the coffee table after being killed by someone with Juggernaut. Now, I don't exactly know why this feature was even there. It didn't take anything away, I guess. So I don't really want it back necessarily. I really just put it on this list to make sure that there's not a gas leak. Like, you guys remember this, right? This isn't... I didn't make this up. Let's talk about customization. Nowadays, customization is pretty similar from game to game. You put camos on your blueprints, blueprints on your guns, guns in the hands of your operators, or you can pay money to get a skin graft done for. But back in the pre-operators or specialist days, Call of Duty Ghosts and Advanced Warfare to be exact, you could actually fully customize your character, starting with a base head all the way down to your shirt, pants, exosuit, gloves, hat, or even glasses. Now granted, most of these items were earned through, you know, supply drops, but the system itself was really cool and offered a level of customization that you really can't get with the modern skin system. Now, another customization feature that was less forgotten and more disavowed was the emblem editor. See, after 2009's Modern Warfare 2 rocked everyone's Glocks off with the idea of putting a little picture next to your name, Treyarch got in the lab for Black Ops 1 and thought, what if we just let everyone make their own little pictures to put next to their names instead? And if you have any critical thinking skills at all, you would realize that is not a very good idea. And then on top of that, the World War II version of the emblem editor even had a browse feature. where you could look through other people's creations on kind of a leaderboard, which even to this day is concerning. So yeah, I think it's probably for the best that we don't have this anymore. And now we're on to part 3 of 3, progression. See, Call of Duty has this nasty habit of reinventing the wheel when it comes to progression almost every single year, with the most recent example being Black Ops 6 finally bringing back Prestige Mode, a feature that no one had an issue with, but they decided to shelve anyway because... To give this section a nice through line though, I've decided I'm gonna put a little XP bar down here in post to track our progress, and it's going to tick up for every instance of forced wordplay, poor rhyming, or a metaphor that no one really asked for. For the uninitiated, this was something that older games like MW2 and COD 4 had on our screens at all times. And just like the check engine light on my 2003 Chevy Cavalier, I, for one, never paid it any mind. But on top of just regular XP, they've also experimented with a number of different progression methods over the years. For instance, back in Black Ops 1, every time that you leveled up, instead of just being handed whatever piece of equipment or weapon that you just unlocked automatically, you actually had to go in and buy it using their new in-game currency that you earned every match. A currency that back in the day we lovingly called COD points. Which means that, yup, a few years ago when Activision sat down to come up with a new name for their actual real-world money equivalent currency, they just went with the same name they used for the fake currency a few years prior. And then they presumably took a good long gander at the abbreviation and the new logo that they made and just didn't... But CP wasn't the only form of upward mobility that Activision employed. In COD Ghosts, they actually merged that character customization system that I was talking about earlier with the Prestige mode to kind of form their own progression method. Basically, you would have a certain number of different soldiers, each with their own loadouts, unlocks, and levels. And you would pick one, play with it enough to max it out, and then move on to the next, slowly building a whole roster of soldiers. Soldiers that you could then take into a brand new alternate mode called Squads, which was kind of like regular MP, but also a kind of an RTS, except you are playing, so it's not really much of an RTS. You were just playing against bots of your soldiers in unique game modes. I never played this back in the day, and to be honest, I don't know anyone who did. So if you're one of the few Squads fans out there, let me know what's good about it, because I don't know why anyone would play it. Another long-lost progression method is what I like to call the salvage system. From around the 2015 to 2017 era. That's World War II, Infinite Warfare, and Modern Warfare Remastered. Now, they all do things slightly differently, but the gist of it is every season they release tons of cosmetics and some new weapons into supply drops. But, unlike years prior, most items would also be funneled into things called collections. And you can kind of think of these like store bundles that we have now, except you could buy things a la carte out of them, with the final thing in the collection only becoming purchasable if you have collected everything before it in the lineup. And to unlock something in a collection, you either have to roll them randomly in drops, or spend salvage, which was a new currency earned by burning down duplicate items, or by completing daily and weekly contracts in-game. I know that might sound a little complicated, but the point that I really want to drive home is that these were essentially like store bundles, but they were earnable both in-game and with real money. Plus, you could pick and choose exactly what from each bundle you actually wanted, instead of being forced to buy a useless emblem because it came bundled with that blueprint you really like. An emblem, by the way, that you will never even scroll past because you already have so many useless emblems you don't even bother opening up the menu. And supply drops aside, I think that this was the most consumer-friendly monetization model model that we've ever seen in Call of Duty. And I would love to see something like this return in the future, because it provided a good path to earning everything in-game, even if it would sometimes take longer to unlock something than it took the COD devs to finally figure out that we don't like change. It's a penny. Oh, dude, and look at that! I leveled up! That means I get my gun back!
Oh my god, dude, you fucking killed him!
What? No, dude, I didn't mean to do that!
You're a murderer! What the hell?
Stop. This is the police.
Come here, man!
What are you doing?
Stay back!
Oh, wait a minute, guys. Hold on. Stand down, stand down. The man has a human shield.
Well, that's about all the forgotten features that I could remember, at least. If I forgot any, please let me know down in the comments section below. And if I forgot any, just, let me know in the comments section down below. Thanks so much for the support on these videos these past these past few weeks. I really appreciate it. I feel like we're starting to hit a zone, BO6 is right around the corner, just a few days out if I upload this on time. And we're gonna hit it hard. We're gonna hit it hard. We're gonna hit it synonym for hard. Huge shout out to all of our channel members listed right here, especially those in the top tier. I'm talking Gordorokos, Shane M, UNSC Helljumper, Dennis the Menace, Priority Drelb, and Shiv Saklani. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you were in a Call of Duty game, I wouldn't forget you at the rest stop like my dad did when I was 12. That's not a joke. Sorry, I was having PTSD flashbacks. Sometimes I feel a little at odds with what, the core Call of Duty community actually wants. Because I'll take a look at a brand new roadmap that's full of brand new weapons and modes and maps and crossovers that no one under the age of 35 has ever even heard of. Fucking Call of Duty, man! And instead of getting excited for all of this new content, I was only really concerned with a single item: the nail gun. Because looking at the rest of the lineup here, I know that these names tend to carry a lot of nostalgic weight, which is like 90% of marketing these days, but do we really need another 2 full auto ARs, a bolt action sniper, and a fast firing SMG? Is that gonna change the game at all? But instead, this nail gun, while not significantly changing the meta or anything, is just wacky. It's goofy. They're adding something to it. Personally, I love it when COD decides to do just some wacky shit. I'm talking about game modes like Prop Hunt or Get High. I'm talking about adding in maps that shrink you down to the size of an ant or put you on a moving bullet train. Or when they release an entire line of weapons that are just power tools. And it's actually that last part that I want to focus on purely today and highlight some of the weirdest weapons, goofiest guns, and most abnormal armaments in Call of Duty history. But as a little disclaimer quick, I am purely talking about multiplayer weapons here. Because over in Zombies, it's almost the goal to make increasingly weirder and weirder weapons with every map. Or at least up until a few years ago, where they decided that they just had enough of them and would start reusing them all indefinitely. Yeah, we're not counting those. These are purely ones in MP. So I'm gonna start with the current game's wackiest weirdo, the D13 Sector, aka the Saw Blade Launcher. And if it wasn't already obvious, it shoots sharp spinning saw blades at the speed of a pro disc golf player. But what really makes this gun, like a lot of the others on this list, unique is that it's a projectile. So you actually have to lead your shots a bit to get them to connect. Something that COD players are specifically allergic to. But the extra bit of physics to account for when making your shot just makes it that much more satisfying to get a kill with. Now, unfortunately, without attachments, this iteration of the launcher doesn't ricochet its blades like the old BO3 version did, but makes up for it by making them just comically fast, pinballing off of everything and blasting off into space. Honestly, it's a shame that the base weapon that you need to use to unlock them is kind of terrible, because this This shit is goofy. I love this. But hey, you know, at least you can make it explosive this time. A feature that the handyman who created it, I guess, added just in case you needed to do some light terraforming on your back porch. And then there's the nail gun that's coming soon at the time of recording this, which was also featured in the futuristic BO3. But personally, I actually think it works better in Cold War, where there's no frills, no fuss, no muss, whatever the fuck muss is, and it's just a standard nail gun, looking like your soldier just picked it up off a toolbox in a pinch. And honestly, that's where I think a lot of these more out there Black Ops weapons are at their best, when they look improvised and slapped together. But we can't talk about experimental weapons and not mention the OG, the explosive crossbow from the original Black Ops. And if my count is correct, it's appeared in 9 total mainline titles, each with it ranging from super underpowered to somehow worse than that. Although from year to year, they did actually change things up quite a bit, keeping the whole thing fresh. For instance, in the Modern Warfare reboot, they introduced different kinds of bolts, like thermite and gas-tipped, in addition to the boring old explosive ones, letting you pick your element like you're evolving Pokemon. But one of the strangest changes is in Black Ops 6, where they added it as an under-barrel launcher, which just kinda looks funny. Yeah, like it's so small. It's cute. Look at that guy. It's fucking adorable. And I'd be remiss to not mention the compound bow that they added to MW3 last year, where they finally did the unthinkable. They made the crossbow
Vertical.
but somehow, despite all of these bows being outclassed by the guns, they're always so satisfying to use. Like, sticking someone with it is just a treat. And it's the kind of weapon that you only put on if you're really in the mood to just fuck around, you know? Which, let's also be honest, that should be everyone's mode at all times. Like, this is a video game. The goal should be to have fun. Fucking hot take. I remember back in, I think it was around 2020, my friends and I made this video trying to see how many crossbow bolts, just standard ones, no explosives, it would take to kill a juggernaut. And to this day, that is still some of the most fun that I've had playing a modern Call of Duty game. And I have literally thousands of hours in the CotD app. That should... That's... Honestly, that's really sad. Fuck, dude. And you know what? Sticking with last year's COD for a minute, do you guys remember when they added a fucking spear? Because I Sledgehammer heard that people didn't like the futuristic weapons that they added in Vanguard and overcompensated to bring us into the Stone Age meta. What I loved about the spear was that it was your all-in-one. Truly the male shampoo section of weapons. You hit the left trigger and you'll stab like any ordinary melee, but the right trigger will just send it full spiral into whoever happens to be downrange. And I recognize that from a gameplay standpoint, it's effectively the same as like the ballistic knife back in the day, but man, it is just so much cooler to send people flying into walls with this thing. And then combine it with the throwing stars, and I swear to God, nothing in this franchise has ever made me feel more like a fucking ninja. And that's including the literal nunchucks and other ninja weapons that I am still working to unlock in BO6. But now that actually opens us up to an entire subsection of bizarre battle brooches, aka weird melee weapons. I mean, over the years, we've had knives, bats, crowbars, brass knuckles, sticks, machetes, pickaxes, skateboards, broken bottles, power drills, mannequin arms, RPG rockets, butt plugs, sickles, even sledgehammers and swords with unique charge-up attacks that added entire new ways of going melee only. And I swear, I'm not being paid to say this or anything, but between the different melees, bows, spears, and aftermarket parts that we'll get to in a minute, last year's Modern Warfare 3 had such a diverse sandbox to play around in by the end of it there. I loved it. But the one and only exception to the all melee weapons are cool rule, and the thing that fucking ruined Modern Warfare 3 and many other titles for me is, of course, the goddamn riot shield. Introduced in the original Modern Warfare 2, the riot shield may be the most exhausted non-bullet weapon in the series that when you put the riot shield away, now is when the devs decided that realism had to apply, and it just goes on your back and still blocks you from taking damage through it, making it the one and only weapon in the franchise to give you a passive ability. No other weapon makes you just 50% immune to taking damage because you happen to have it on your class. What the fuck? Why does this exist? And to be fair, in order to balance this, a lot of older games would just make the shield a primary weapon, meaning that the trade-off was that if you had the shield, you were only allowed a secondary, unless you used a perk like Overkill to get 2 primary weapons at once, in which case you would be missing out on stopping power or anything else like that. But what made the Ninja Turtle meta so bad, specifically in the last few years, was because their perk systems allowed you to get Overkill on your class with, in some cases, literally no trade-offs. So in practice, everyone could run whatever the game's meta AR was on their front and a bulletproof shield on their back to create a personal safe space that made any maneuvers like flanking, which required actual map and game knowledge over sweaty, cheesy gameplay, absolute fucking hell. I'm sorry, I'm getting way too fucking heated about this. I'm just saying that sometimes weird weapons aren't good. But most of the time they are, though. Let's get back to the to the actual video. But moving on now, Call of Duty has had a handful of titles set in the future. And with that setting comes some liberties that the devs can take to really go crazy with it. For instance, in the very first future COD, Black Ops 2, we saw a 4-round burst AR. Whoa! Calm down there, buddy. Thankfully, though, Advanced Warfare really pushed the envelope in terms of different guns. Like the IMR, that would self-print more ammo for you in the background while you were busy bouncing up and down with your jetpack and trying out the other exo abilities that I keep forgetting were even in this game. Like the active camo or the...
No! God, please, no!
And personally, I don't think that the snipers in this game get enough credit for being just kind of balls to the wall weird. Like the Atlas 20mm, that's an over-the-shoulder rifle. Or the Moors, which is a fucking railgun. That's so fucking cool. That's so rad. I actually wrote rad in here. Why the fuck, what decade, where am I from? Then there's the XMG, a light machine gun that not only could you somehow dual wield, but you could even enter a lockdown mode that turned you into a sentient sentry gun on a moment's notice. And of course, there were the laser weapons, most notably being the EM1. And while by no means was it the meta or anything, it was yet another gun that you used completely differently compared to the standard non-lasery guns. And it was just a fun change of pace at times. And also, I'm not gonna lie either, I know that when they brought it back in Vanguard, it was kind of a meme, but to be honest, on some level, I kind of liked it being completely era inappropriate. And genuinely, if they had decided to just say fuck it a little bit earlier and really lean into Vanguard being this weird alternate reality World War II from the jump, I would have been so on board. Next up, I think in general, the launcher category isn't always given enough credit for really pushing the wacky weapons agenda enough. Because most people just take one look at the list and say, okay, this one's for locking onto streaks, this one's for free fire, and this one's for shooting at the ground, accidentally ending your bloodline in 0.2 seconds. Got it. But there's actually been a ton of really unique launchers over the years, right? You got the China Lake and its iconic rusty pump sound. Or there's the Stormender, an EMP rifle that's built for taking out streaks due to its unlimited ammo, and is also perfect for lightly tickling human enemies and letting them know to turn around and kill you now. And of course, there's the ever so iconic Javelin, the only thing single-handedly trying to teach this generation of kids about delayed gratification. You see, you shoot the thing up, fuck, you can see I don't have a watch. And now I've been talking about pretty extreme examples of weird weapons throughout this video, but I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. Here's what 9 out of 10 doctors don't want you to know about. Weapons don't actually have to be that crazy to be considered weird, in my opinion. And there's actually tons that are mostly regular bullet weapons that just have a bit of a unique spin on them that makes them stand out. Like the G11 and its weird scope that they knew no one would willingly put on, so they just removed all the other attachments altogether. Or there's all the dual-wield shotguns from throughout the years, but mostly the iconic 1887s and their Western-themed reloads paired with unlimited range. Or you've got the Ripper from COD Ghosts that would turn from an AR to an SMG at the press of a button. Or the Blunderbuss and Little Bro Executioner. Plus there's all those aftermarket parts that Sledgehammer developed last year, like the Maglift, which fired once on trigger pull and again on release, creating this really fun and unique rhythm to it. Or the wide mouth barrel for the Moors, turning it from a sniper into a shotgun. Or the Outlaw, which made the BAS-B a lever action rifle, which the franchise is surprisingly lacking. So anyway, the main point that I want to get across in this video is that, yeah, shooting things with an SMG is cool or whatever, but we've been there. We've done that. And weapons like this make the experience fresh. And again, that doesn't mean that every weapon has to be fucking crazy or anything, but I don't know. I like when something is just different enough that it changes how every gunfight is gun fought, or at least makes that particular weapon stand out in a sea of guns that go shooty shooty McBang bang. Like maybe it's as subtle as a different reload animation that's particularly flashy, or it has a certain attachment baked into it, or the sound is just crazy satisfying, or the weapon doesn't fit into the correct setting, or the spawn animation is fun, or it has unique iron sights, or it's fucking plastic. I don't know, man. That's the end of the script. Because let's be honest, almost every single weapon that I mentioned today in this video, no matter how good or bad it was instantly more recognizable and more fun to use, I'd wager, than something like the MX-99, DGS 556, or Bruin M80. And you know how I know that? Because these aren't real guns. I made them up. I tricked ya. Drop that L in the comment section down below. Fucking nerd! Hey, so the joke there was that the javelin from earlier was coming down. That's the... I'm not that good of a VFX artist. Despite technically being a VFX artist for many years. Huge shout out to my channel members. They're listed all around me. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, all of that stuff. And let me know what kind of videos you want me to make in the future. More stuff like this? Less stuff like this. Those are your two options. Anyway, that's all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Virtually every game franchise has at least something in it with that dreaded RE prefix. From small map remakes, single-player remasters, complete reboots, the rare revival, or even complete re-releases of the exact same game every year for the last decade. Oh, you know what? Actually, I take that one back. This year they did a different one. Still waiting on the game they announced 8 fucking years ago, though. But I'm a Call of Duty guy, okay? I don't like it. I didn't choose this. It just sort of happened, okay? It's like a Harry Potter house or a star sign. And Call of Duty multiplayer specifically is interesting to me because it's actually mastered all of the different disciplines of the art of the remake over the years. First, we've got the standard remaster. And my first experience with them in COD was back in the original MW2. Now, back in the day, this was actually only the 6th mainline Call of Duty title. And the first 3 of those games were a little all over the place in terms of level design. So there really wasn't much of a deep bench to pull from if the game wanted just a quick little nostalgia boost, resulting in them bringing back the iconic foursome of Vacant, Crash, Strike, and Overgrown from Call of Duty 4, which at the time was only 2 years old, which looking back feels a little odd. That would be like if Season 4 of Black Ops 6 introduced Greenberg Hotel as its remaster for the season. Like, that just feels odd, you know? And I don't think that's something that COD would really ever do again. Overall, though, these were widely liked by the community, and a big part of that were because these maps were perfect one-to-one remasters of the original maps, just with better lighting and slightly better graphics. And if you're asking yourself right now which is the original and which is the remake, I forgot to label my files when I downloaded them, so your guess is as good as mine, dude. But at some point, the devs got tired of the old Control-C, Control-V shuffle and wanted to mix it up a bit. And this would be the second category of map remakes that I call remasters with a twist, where they're technically the same map, but they have a certain level of distinction between them that makes each one their own. For instance, the original Black Ops series liked to transport their old maps into completely new settings, like moving firing range into a movie studio's backlot with completely new set pieces referencing popular movies like Jurassic Park, Godzilla, and the 2002 hit film The Adventures of Pluto Nash starring Eddie Murphy. Or there's Black Ops 1's Hazard, which takes the World at War map Cliffside and turns it into a golf course. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think last year's Grow House falls into this category too, because it's the same exact layout as Sphere from Vanguard, but they just teleported it to a universe where Snoop Dogg was the anchor being. But then there's the remakes that do the opposite. They keep the setting, but change the layout. Think Crash from Modern Warfare 2019, adding extra flanking routes where there weren't any. Or Vanguard's version of Castle, with newly added destructible environments. Or Modern Warfare 2023's Subbase finally teaching our operators how to swim. These are probably closest by definition to the actual term remake, where devs are essentially just trying to make a new version, addressing notes and feedback. You know, USS Texas _final _V3 - no, actually final for real this time _ with doors because why the fuck not .mp4. And to be honest, there's just too many of these for my small brain and weak arms to really count, because this category makes up almost every single remake to release on the new engine. From Backlot removing the basement in 2019, to Kill House removing the tower for 2019, or even Vacant adding a second building back in 2019. You know, I'm starting to sense a pattern, and then there's remakes that do both. They both change the setting and update the layout. The best example of this would probably be like Excess in Infinite Warfare, which is a remake of Rust, but moved into a future setting, and then getting a couple new areas and different scaling to accommodate the advanced movement of that era. Now, you may have noticed that I've been avoiding a certain elephant, or more accurately, cockroach, in the room so far. And that's because I think that this map falls into its own category that I'm dubbing staple maps. These are maps that at this point are pretty much expected at least once every 2 to 3 years, that being your shipments and your nuke towns. And I've talked at length about how these teeny tiny maps are like candy, and having too much of them leads to a certain type of rot. But honestly, like in my heart of hearts, I kind of like the idea of these maps at least existing. Like, I don't know, it's kind of fun having a map like Nuketown that follows the player and the series as it grows. It's there for the good times, it's there for the bad times, and it's there for the weird times. But in the end, they're a lot like family. You know that no matter what, they will always be there for you. You just wish that you could see them a little bit less often. And now we're going to be getting into some obscure territory to talk about the next type of remake that I call quiet remakes. And these are maps that aren't directly advertised to even be remakes, and aren't too forthcoming about borrowing elements or sometimes entire layouts from other maps, usually from a game in BC times. In that instance, this stands for before COD 4, when nobody wrote things down, obviously. The most recent example is the map Tarak, back in Modern Warfare 22, which is a reimagining of the COD 1 map, Newville. Or at least so I'm told, because apparently they delisted COD Classic a few months ago, and it turns out I didn't have it downloaded, so I can't personally go in and check. I'm purely trusting the internet here. That has never led me astray, don't worry. Then back in 2019 of all places, you also had Suldell Harbor, which is a quiet remake of just Harbor from COD 1 as well, which explains why everybody played that map like an aging World War II veteran. And I actually didn't know this until someone pointed it out in the comments of one of my other videos, but Modern Warfare 2's Wasteland was also actually a quiet remake. It was based off of the map Brecourt from classic Call of Duty as well. But the distinction here is that in all of these circumstances, they weren't directly marketed as map remakes, but just ordinary original maps. Because, you know, let's be honest, anyone who played Newville back in the day wasn't still around for Tarak 20 years later. Like that's a complete generational shift. I also very recently just learned that the map Chinatown from COD 4 shares a layout with Carentan, and I just never noticed. Both of these maps have been remade a few times since then, and it just right over my head. I just never even realized. Now, I don't know if that one really is a quiet remake or not, because I wasn't around when Chinatown came out. I'm not sure if they advertised it as such. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. Did you know that? Have you been keeping things from me? Then there's also a handful of maps that take certain elements from older maps, but remix them into their own setting and layout, with the most famous recent example being Palaio's Lighthouse in MW22, incorporating the living room from a state. But there's also lesser known ones in that same game, like Farm 18, containing a building from the classic Pavlov, or MW3's first war map being built on top of Kandor Hideout, Crossfire, and Countdown all stitched together. But I wouldn't really consider any of those maps to be remakes per se, and I'd kind of put them in the same category as when they shove multiplayer maps into the BR map, or the constant spattering of Noctur and Toten across nearly every Treyarch Zombies game since the original. They're just subtle little nods to get the childlike part of your brain to go all mushy, and all you can think of to say is, "Oh my god, check it out! Babe, get in here! It's the same cliffside as Summit." But one trend that I've noticed over the last few years, and I'd like to talk about a little bit, is that despite every single new game having dozens upon dozens of unique maps year after year, it seems like very few of the maps chosen for coveted remake status come from anything this decade. In fact, if we use Call of Duty World War II's return to boots on the ground back in 2017 as a natural wedge between modern and older Call of Duty, the only original maps that we've actually seen get proper remakes since the split has been USS Texas, Shoot House, King, Das House, Sphere, and Hacienda, versus all of these remakes pulled from games pre-World War II, totaling a staggering 37. And obviously, those maps have been around for longer, right? So obviously, it's going to be skewed toward them. But 6 to 37? What is that? My fucking KD? And that's not even counting map variants, staple maps like Shipment or Nuketown, or all of the MW2 remasters that last year's game launched with. Like, it's such a huge divide. And I'm a little torn, because I grew up playing those old maps. And even now, I still get excited every time that a new one is announced from that era, because I want to relive those memories. I want to feel 16 again instead of 58. How old am I? But there comes a point where it feels like we're retreading the same backwash. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Firing Range, one of my favorite maps of all time, but it's been remade 5 times. And I think it's about time that we start moving away from the old guard. And I'm not personally in the camp that all modern COD maps are trash now, but I know that a lot of people are. And for those people, my question is there really not a single map from each game that you'd want to see get another shot? Like, just going down the list, starting from World War II, where that wedge was, my personal pick would be the map Valkyrie. And while I don't have too much to inform that opinion beyond just, I've never really had a bad game here, I actually really like the admittedly subtle aesthetic. And to me, it's the perfect size and a 3-lane layout done right. Then in Black Ops 4, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really vibe with the maps. But one standout for me was Icebreaker. Because just the idea of a submarine run aground that you're fighting in and around is such a cool idea to me. Then there's 2019, which has gotta go to Hackney Yard. In a game full of maps that chose realism over balance, Hackney was one of the only base maps to follow a more traditional design. And I'd love to see it return to a game that actually has red dots on the minimap and good visibility. For Cold War, it's the Pines. And I would even go a step further, and I think that this would make a fantastic staple map. Like, imagine if every new Black Ops game released with a new version of this mall, continually renovated as it moves onto the next time period, changing both the visuals and the layout as it's remodeled. And next up, I'm going with Eagle's Nest and Vanguard. Although this game actually had tons of really good launch maps. Like, there's not a single one that I wouldn't be happy to see return. Then is MW22, with one of my favorite maps of the last few years, Vondel Waterfront, which again, I think is the perfect size, and is probably the only map in this game that actually uses the game's swimming mechanics in a way that feels right. Then last year is another DLC one, Grime, that even my first time playing, it just felt like an instant classic to me. And lastly, we have Black Ops 6, where I'll name Skyline as the big winner. And honestly, I don't think I'll have too many people disagree with me here, because it's small, but it still actually has decent flow, with a decent amount of verticality as well, that usually rewards map knowledge over just blind stimming and sliding. Because thinking back about maps like Firing Range, Terminal, or Crash, they were all solid maps in their respective game, but they weren't really these instant classics like we regard them to be now. And it wasn't until their remasters that really elevated them above the rest. And in these times where every game already kind of blends into the next, I think ironically not having any remakes from semi-recent games kind of doesn't let any individual one stick in players' minds like they used to. And then the problem just continues to grow because the maps that people know the best are already the ones that get remade all the time, and so people are begging for those maps to keep coming back over and over again because they're the ones that everybody thinks of. You see how it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy? So please, if any Call of Duty devs are watching, I beg of you, give some of these maps a chance to become classics. Don't let thousands of hours of work across hundreds of maps be just forgotten. Let us as a community have something to latch onto again. And please, just don't let the most recognizable map from World War II be fucking USS Texas. I fucking hate USS Texas. But that's all just me, right? And I'd be curious to know, what maps of the last few years do you guys think is worthy of a remake one of these days? And I swear, if anybody says Stakeout, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. It's gonna happen. I don't even know what an aneurysm is, to be honest, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna die? Is that a deadly thing? Channel members are listed all around me. If you want to become a channel member, you get early videos, bonus videos, all that stuff. Hit that little join button down below. It really, really helps out the channel. And for everybody else, feel free to like, subscribe, and email your local congressperson to let them know that I'll be seeing you. That feels like a threat. Looking at what's supposed to be a hobby? Fucking nerd alert, get the fuck out of here. And from that point forward, this roller coaster just speeds on up, careening towards certain death. Ironically, with the adoption of the whole live service moniker, which meant that they were doubling down on creating the feeling that you had to play Call of Duty every single day, of every single week, of every single month, of every single year, otherwise you might miss out on fucking Hudson or whatever. God forbid you miss out on Hudson. What else? What are you gonna do? And make no mistake, this wasn't just Call of Duty adopting this, and honestly, it reaches completely outside of gaming, as I'm sure you know. In fact, most things around this time, if not a little bit before, started going after this attention economy. And now, every single game, every single app, every single TV show is competing for as many of your limited hours on Earth as possible. And so long grinds and rewards became the forefront of most AAA live service titles. And when your game is based around these never-ending grind sessions that only makes fast lanes, like Shipment 24/7, that much more valuable. But there was hope, because Modern Warfare 2019 introduced 2 brand new game modes that were actually like the polar opposite of this shipment scourge, although for 2 completely different reasons. And the first, of course, was Warzone, a brand new one-life battle royale mode taking place on the largest map in Call of Duty history, Verdansk. And the other was Gunfight, a highly competitive 2v2 mode without any respawns, with a heavy emphasis on tactical gameplay. And these 2 new modes were such a breath of fresh air, and so antithetical to the entire idea of this TikTokification of Call of Duty that they just couldn't let that stand. Warzone, for instance, introduced a brand new mode called Resurgence, which was focused on quick respawns and took place on a brand new map called Rebirth Island, which might have been borrowed from Blackout the year before, which was already borrowed from Black Ops 2 Zombies a few years before that, which was also borrowed from the San Francisco Bay from like 100 years ago. I don't know, when was Alcatraz built? And as for Gunfight, the next game, Black Ops Cold War, did bring it back, but also reintroduced Face-Off back from MW3, except now it was made up of 2 full 6-person teams on those Gunfight maps. So let's just break it down real quick. The original MW3 had Face-Off, and in Face-Off, you would play 3 players versus 3 players, so a total of 6 people on the map. And to compensate, they designed maps that were about 50% the size of regular maps. Meanwhile, the new Face-Off now was 6 players versus 6 players, so a total of 12, taking place on maps that were designed for 2v2. So they were about a third the size of a standard core multiplayer map. And why did one number get bigger and the other number got smaller? Cold War's Face-Off mode is still some of the most hectic Call of Duty I have ever played, and that's 100% by design. It was no longer an accident like back in COD 4. This was deliberate. Some designer made this, showed this to their higher-ups, and they said, "Great job, here's a fucking pizza party." Meanwhile, Nuketown 24/7 and Shipment 24/7 swapped off, being 365 every other year. And during this time, most other 6v6 maps also started shrinking as well, with almost a complete drop-off on large-scale maps. And my favorite example of this is actually back in Cold War, when they brought back Zoo from the original Black Ops, but seemingly realized that it was too big for modern audiences, so they just kinda chopped half of it off and shipped it, thinking that no one would notice. And to be honest, not many people did. Okay, so I feel like I'm losing you a little bit, because this video it's a little bit big, it's long, it's girthy, it's Another synonym that I only am putting in here to make the video even longer. Why am I doing that? So I'm just gonna kind of fast forward through the next few games or so in a what's basically like a PowerPoint, just so that the edit isn't as crazy on this part. I hope you guys will forgive me. I am trying to get this out by the end of this year, which please let me know if this comes out by the end of 2024, because that's the goal right now. Anyway, let's get into the next game. Now, next up was Call of Duty Vanguard, with a brand new tiny map, Das House, along with a recreation of Dome 1, which we'll call Dome 1A, to avoid confusion. And of course, Shipment had to make a return too, this time with a holiday version called Ship Muss, followed by another remake of Dome 2 now, which means that we're up to Dome 2C, right? Well, not quite, because I forgot to mention that Infinite Warfare had Genesis and Genesis Holiday, which both also shared this exact same layout. So those are actually Dome 2C and Dome 2C-H, respectively. And this new one will be Dome 2D, to avoid further confusion. Then there was also Beheaded, a tiny map that took inspiration from Cloverfield, a movie that everyone was talking about in 2021. And finally was Mayhem, which was not only a small map, but was also a small map. You get it? Anyway, Modern Warfare 22 is up next, with the infamous Season 1 offering of just Shipment and Shoot House again. Then there's another Dome 2, so we're up to Dome 2E now, to avoid confusion, plus Gunfight Face-Off was also back that year, with the maps Alley, Black Site, Exhibit, Lounge, Fight, Mercado, Penthouse, and King all added to the rotation. Oh, and there was also another Shipmas, for good measure, I guess. And finally, in MW3 Redux, they launched with all original MW2 2009 maps, which meant that Rust was there off the bat. And pretty quickly, Shipment and Shoot House from the previous game also returned, along with the previous year's Dome 2E, that because it was a straight carry-forward map, we'll go ahead and call Dome 2E-1 to avoid confusion, along with Alley, Exhibit, and Black Site also making a return, although those usually stayed out of 6v6 rotation and were actually just for 2v2 gunfight that year. But for those face-off fans, you needn't worry, because there was also a whole host of teeny tiny DLC maps that year, including Stash House and Das House again, plus Ink House and Das Gross, which were variants of the aforementioned two maps. Then you had Meat, Training Facility, Get High, and a handful of not quite tiny maps, but they were in the constant small map playlist, like Emergency, Grow House, and Checkpoint, which were all about the same size of Nuketown, by the way. Oh, and there were also like 6 different versions of Shipment this year, too, because, you know, why the fuck not at that point? Are you feeling engaged yet, everybody? And that brings us to the most recent Call of Duty release, Black Ops 6, which continues the trend of face-off being a core staple of the game, going as far as even including it in the beta so that you could grind through all 30 levels in a record-breaking 12.5 minutes. And of course, because it's a Treyarch game, that means that Nuketown 24/7 has also returned. But this time, actually swapping out with what's probably the smallest map ever created in maybe any video game ever, Stakeout. And beyond those specifically designed small map modes, we also saw a huge uptick in the amount of tiny maps in regular rotation. Like back in the day, a map like Babylon or Subsonic would be hailed as this game's Rust or Shipment, but instead they just fall in line with the rest of the quote-unquote small maps that are the size of a postage stamp. To the point that that fast lane isn't just an option, it's the option. Like, it's actually insane going back and just watching older Call of Duty gameplay from back in the day and realizing that it actually played a lot slower than you remember. And in that way, Call of Duty mirrors the rest of the world speeding the hell up. Can't be bothered to read a headline? Well, just take a look at the picture and that'll do. You'll get the gist. Everything from software to company logos have been stripped of personality and function to be streamlined but surface level. Don't have time to write an email to your boss asking for the week off to grind Call of Duty camos? Just have an AI do it. I mean, shit, you'll probably get an AI-generated response right on back. And now, I've never been one to really go for these big completionist challenges. But back in MW22, I wanted to challenge myself, and I went for Orion, the camo that you unlock if you unlock all of the other camos in the game, like a big pyramid scheme. And you know what? It took me like 10 months, but I did get it. And when writing this video, I realized that I haven't played Call of Duty in probably about a week, which is unlike me as someone who has played this game almost religiously for a decade and a half. And so I thought back to the last time that I was super invested in Call of Duty, and it was during MW22, going for that mastery camo. And so I thought, hey, maybe I should do it again. But thankfully, before I did that, I went back to where I actually unlocked the camo live on stream. And to be honest, it was a little underwhelming. I mean, sure, when I got the final headshot, I was smiling, but how much of that was actual joy and not just fabricated to make myself think that it was actually worth the 219 hours of my life that I spent to get it? That's right, 219 hours that I will never get back. 219 hours of just mindless grinding for grinding's sake. And at the end of it all, I ended the stream 15 minutes later and never touched the damn game again. And you want to know the kicker? The last 15 minutes of the stream was doing a victory lap on shipment. I started to realize that I don't go on social media to see what my friends are up to anymore. Now I do it just out of habit, doom scrolling the day away, and hoping that it'll somehow give me the motivation to actually get out there and live my life. But it doesn't. I realize that I can't properly eat a meal without finding the perfect show or podcast to listen to first. Because God forbid that I be alone with my thoughts for more than 15 and a half seconds. I caught myself putting every ounce of creativity that I have into a single YouTube video, but then end up cutting so much of it out to appease the YouTube algorithm gods that it doesn't even resemble what it was supposed to be in the first place. Maybe I'm a perfectionist, and that's why I need to be driven by long-term goals in order to be happy. But fuck 50 years from now, if you asked me today what my life's greatest accomplishments were, grinding out a goddamn mastery camo in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 by pissing away weeks of my life on a too small shipping yard wouldn't even crack the top 100. So maybe I don't need to pick up that controller. I don't need to find a reason to play a video game. And maybe if you're at the point that you're asking if there's enough of a reason to want to play your game, then you already know the answer. You want to know why my sub feed is full of nothing but Call of Duty is dead videos? It's because this practice of engagement farming, this attention economy, only attracts negative attention. They did this to themselves. You were so focused on how to maximize engagement that you didn't realize you forgot to make it fun. And man, I miss having fun. Anyway, that's where I'll end the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. And I'll be back when I feel like it. COD is at yearly releases for almost as long as I've been alive, if I was only 24 years old. And every year, they release somewhere between 20 and like 50 total maps. If you count up all the core 6v6 maps, ground war maps, strike maps, zombies maps, battle royale maps, free run maps. Y'all remember free run? When you tally it up, you end up with that many. And so today, I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to see how many of those maps I actually remember. So I had my wonderful fiance, who does not play Call of Duty. She has never picked up a controller in her life, if not to play Mario Party, and beat the fuck out of me every single time. Don't know how. It's entirely luck-based. I gave her the Wikipedia page for every single Call of Duty map and told her to pick 33 random ones and put them on this here PowerPoint. And the goal is for me to name that map. I'll get 1 point if I get the game right. I should get the game right on all of these. And an additional 2 points if I get the map name correctly. For a grand total of 99 points, plus an extra 1 if I happen to get a 100% score. And please, by all means, play along at home. If you're a big Call of Duty fan, how many of these maps do you know? Let me know your scores down below. We'll just get into this thing, shall we? Very first map. Ooh! Advanced Warfare Zombies. Okay, now this is the one that was underwater. It was the final DLC. It takes place completely underwater, or maybe you start on the top and you like elevate your way down, elevator your way down. That's a phrase people use all the time. I think sub is in it somewhere, like subterranean. No, that doesn't sound right. Let me just lock in first of all. Advanced Warfare. Done. It can't be right, but I'm just gonna say submersed. Descent! That's what it was. Because you descend into... You know what? That's what you do on an elevator when it goes down. You descend. God damn it, it was right in front of me. Let's see what the next one is. Oh, Lord. Oh, no. I'm fucked. Is this Shaolin Shuffle? Wait, what else could this possibly be? Maybe a BO4 map? Like a DLC map from BO4 or something? I feel like Shaolin Shuffle would be more colorful, though, right? Like, IW Zombies was all, like, in your face. You know, this doesn't read as in your face. You know what? Actually, hold on, because the sides of the frame here kind of have, like, that VHS feel. Yeah, okay. All right, let's try Infinite Warfare, first of all. Got it. And then, is it Shaolin Shuffle? Yeah, Shaolin Shuffle. Is this just Raven the Redwoods? No. Extinction? One of the final Extinction maps? Who is my dude up here? What the fuck is this? All right, I'm gonna guess Ghosts for Extinction. It's Ghosts. Okay. Fuck. So I accidentally hit the button and it revealed Awakening. There is no way in fuck I was getting Awakening, though. So we're just gonna count that as 1 point for Ghosts. And let's hope to God that the next one's multiplayer. Okay. All right, we got it. This is BO2. DLC map. DLC like 2 or 3. Crashed airplane, right? BO2. I believe it's Cove. It's Cove. Fuck yeah, dude. Man, if we can just get a couple more of those, we can really rock it through here. Oh, BO2 cargo. Oh, love it. Nobody really talks about cargo nowadays, you know? The big thing was that these little, like, these shipping crates would move throughout the map, which was a really cool concept. I don't remember them actually, like, playing that big of a role. All right, what do we got next? Oh my god. It's Nuketown Holiday. BO6. All right, so I'm really glad that she's thrown in some easy ones here. All right, let's see. What oh, Dome. Dome. Is this Vanguard's Dome? I don't think it was in World War II, right? I'm going to guess Vanguard Dome. Vanguard Dome. Hell yeah. Dude, we are rocketing through this thing. Fuck me. Oh, wait. No. I think this one's literally just called Egypt, right? It's COD World War II. I know that for a fact. Boom. Now, this is either... There was a map called Egypt, but I think that there was a war map, maybe. Was there a war map that took place in a place like that? Would it be called, like... Pyra or something, you know? I feel like Pyra. You know what? I know Egypt was a map. I'm gonna lock in Egypt, even though I don't think this is it. Egyptian sands. Hold on, I gotta Google this map. It's a multiplayer map featured in World War II that is exclusive to the dogfight game mode. Oh my god, what a deep cut. All right, next up. Well, now this is a picture of 3 different maps. DLC Pack 3 Absolution. I mean, it looks like the IW font. It's definitely a futuristic COD. Futuristic COD, not BO3, because I would remember this map in BO3. I don't think it's Advanced Warfare, because I feel like I would recognize it. Infinite Warfare is probably the only Call of Duty game that I don't think I could name a single map from. I didn't play it. So to me, this reads as probably Infinite Warfare. As for the name of the map, I have zero idea. And it's a little concerning that I have never seen this map before. Is this all one big map? I mean, it has to be. Oh no, it's like a theme park, right? There's like a ticket booth. Okay, my guess is Mythic Land. No, because cake isn't mythical. Adventure Park. That's what I'm calling it. Adventure Park. Let's see. First of all, Infinite Warfare. Correct. Let's see Action Park. 4? It's just called 4? Was DLC free in IW? Because if so, I might have it. I gotta look at this freaking map, dude. This looks incredible. Oh, BO3 Aquarium. Easy. All right, this is another BO3 map. Was it just called like Showdown? It was like Arena or something. It was called like Chamber. It was something like a place that you fight. Where do you fight? Dojo. Ooh, it could be Dojo. Way back when BO3 came out, I made a machinima short where there were like 12 guys up here fighting with like nunchucks and shit. I think that's why I'm thinking that it's like supposed to be some kind of arena, but maybe it's not. I'm gonna stick with Dojo. Dojo feels good. We got BO3, that's 1 point. Knockout! Damn it, this does not feel like a knockout, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see. Okay, this is Vanguard. This is Vanguard. I can see them, I can close my eyes, I can see the map. There's like, right out here, there's like a main building with like a, man, I can't describe it at all. For some reason, the name BOIII jumped out at me. B-O Cage. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce that, to be honest. But I don't remember if that was the name of this map or not, or if that was just the name of another random fucking map. Fuck, dude. All right, I'm just going with it. I'm going with my gut. Vanguard, BOIII. That's it. BOIII. Honestly, Vanguard had some really solid maps. Like, say what you will about the game in general, right? Personally, I wasn't a big fan of the World War II genre, and so immediately off the bat, I was kind of off-put, but the maps in Vanguard, honestly, were a highlight. Oh, another Advanced Warfare. It's the clown map. There's a big sign of like a clown. He opens his hat and bombs fly out of him. It's a hotel. Sideshow. Advanced Warfare. Sideshow. Look at that. Fuck me, dude. All right, this is a COD 1 or 2. This is a pre-COD 4. Holy crap. So let's talk this one out. My guess is gonna be COD 3, just because I don't think it looks that bad. But it is clearly like, oh, you know what? It could be COD Classic though. Call of Duty 1 did get a remaster in like 2010 or something like that. So this could be from that. Man, it's just so open. Like, what is this? Is this like a campaign level? Like, there's zero cover up in here. Maybe for that reason it has to be COD 1. Like, they didn't figure out how to make a multiplayer map yet. All right, let's just go for the Call of Duty title. I think it's Call of Duty 2. I'm splitting the difference between 1 and 3. United Offensive. What the fuck is United Offensive? It's an expansion pack for the first Call of Duty. Okay, so I was wrong then. This is COD 1. As far as map name, I'm thinking it's something simple. My guess is gonna be Village. It's Rhine Valley. Okay, so no points for that one. Jesus. Shit. I don't know this map either. This looks like World at War to me. I'm gonna be honest, there is no way in hell I'm gonna just snipe this map name. But, again, map names were very, very simple back then. So my guess, I'm locking it in. World at War, the map is Factory. Call of Duty 3. All right, I'm all over the place. Let's see if it was Factory, maybe? Fuel Plant. Fuel Plant is a factory. I deserve points for that. Oh, this is a classic. Modern Warfare 2 Quarry. Easy peasy. Oh! Okay, Black Ops Cold War, KGB. The only reason I remember that it's called KGB is because back in Cold War, when I was doing accurate tours, for this one, I did basically like a little rap. But it was like I abbreviated everything. KGB takes us to the USSR, where the USA DOA some SOBs, and KIA their IRL ADD with prompt returns to the DZ. Also, is that seriously what I looked like back then? Jesus, dude, get a fucking haircut. Next one. Ooh. Okay, now this might be a trick, because there's 2 maps. Now, it's either Get High or Get Higher. I feel like the first one started off with these tunnels, right? The second one, it's like you go up, and it's like a split up and down, and this isn't here. The second one has you go around the corner, and then it's those things that go up, the red blocks that bop you up and can kill you. All right, this is Get High. Get High. Legitimately the best new mode Call of Duty has done in a long time. Fuck me, dude. This is Infinite Warfare. I don't know the map. Fuck. Clearly that's Mars, right? Like, I have played on a map that's on Mars. I don't remember it looking like this, though. Would it be called, like, just something simple? Like Red? The Red Giant. It's called Martians. It's called Matt Damon. So here, first of all, Infinite Warfare. So I got that. That's out of the way. Then, map name. It's gotta have an S in there. It's gotta have an S. My guess is Solar Array. No, there's no array. What the fuck am I talking about? Satellite Derby. Satellite time. Satellite over Mars. Martian satellite. It's, Saskatchewan. Salp. Do you think it could be Salp? Does Salp sound like anything? Maybe it's a C. Maybe it's a like a crabble. Man, I'm gonna go with like solar or something. I think the word solar is in there. Skydock! Damn it! It had the S. It has the K. I just had to finish it. Skydock. Fuck me, man. What is this? No, wait, I do remember this. This was Advanced Warfare, one of the last DLCs. It was like, it's like an eco center or something. It might be called Eco. Advanced Warfare, that's 1 point. Climate! Damn it, I really should have thought about that a little bit more. Fuck me, this is BO4, I think. Wait, no. It says Oasis right here. Is this, so the original MW3, which we have not had yet on this, had a map called Oasis. It might have, it doesn't seem like the same color palette that I remember, but it might just be like my memory fading. Looking at like this little thing down here in the corner, this reads Modern Warfare, older Modern Warfare. Let me just lock in Modern Warfare 3. Okay, we know it's Modern Warfare 3. Cool. Modern Warfare 3 is weird because the DLC that year, they didn't do DLC packs. They instead did like this COD Elite thing. I talked about it in a video a few weeks or months ago, where basically like every 2 or 3 weeks you got a new map. Kind of similar to what we have now with seasonal content, but not free. And I didn't pay to like get in that program. So I didn't play a decent amount of MW3 like DLC maps. But I do remember Oasis. I'm gonna go with it. It's Oasis. Hot dog. Oh, this is Vacant 2019. Ooh, okay, this is from last year. Was it called Lounge? It's Lounge. Oh, fuck, wait, no! This was Modern Warfare 2, not Modern Warfare 3. Fuck! I forgot that MW3 really didn't get any original gunfight maps. Every map that they added into the game was just a tiny 6v6 map that they also put in gunfight. With the exception of, I think, Training Facility. But other than that, every other gunfight map from that game was just ported over from this game. Oh, baby! Brand new, hot off the presses, Citadel des Morts in Black Ops 6. Ooh, okay. This one was BO4. It's funny that this one would come up. This is the one I always forget the fucking name of. It's something like so generic, man. It's like, it's not this, but it's something like Protocol. You know? It's like bandwidth. It might be frequency. Frequency is like buzzing around in my head. It feels right somehow. But also, like, where are you getting frequency from? I mean, like, look at this image. Like, what the fuck? What about this screams frequency? I don't know. It's BO4, though. So we've got that. And then let's just go with frequency. It's frequency. Hell yeah. Okay. BO4, another game that I really didn't play a ton of. BO4 just, like, killed all enjoyment of the series for me. I just really did not like that game. Oh, we got a shipment. I knew there had to be a shipment on here. This is MW3 2023 Bitmint. Oh. Brand new one. We got Scud, BO6. Oh, this is Drive-In from BO1. First Black Ops one that we've gotten so far. Okay, what the fuck is this? COD 3. COD 3 is my guess. Map name, I got absolutely fuck all, dude. We're gonna go with Bridge. For no reason other than there's a bridge here. Oh my god, I actually got COD 3. All right, COD 3. It's called La Bourgade. Is that by chance French for bridge? Ooh, I should really know this one. So it's BO4. I remember this one also having a similar one to Frequency. That, like, it was like, it just didn't make any sense. And I feel like it was pirate themed in some way. Like it would be called, like, Booty or something. I mean, it's obviously not named Booty. This map's name is Booty. Wait, was it Contraband? Contraband was also the name of, like, some of the black market stuff. Some like the microtransactions. Did they double dip in that one game? I'm gonna go Contraband. Contraband, hell yeah. What is this? So I think it's a zombies map. My guess is this is a COD World War II zombies map. Now, the name of that COD World War II zombies map, I have no fucking idea. I'm gonna guess World War II. We're gonna lock that in. Now, as far as the name of the map, let me go through the names of the maps that I know. There's Final Reich, Broston House. There's that one that's like was it the Frozen Dark? Could this be the Frozen Dark? There was another one that was all about like the journey, right? It was like a 3-part zombies map. I thought that was kind of a neat concept. There was like the Longest Shore or something like that. The Darkest Shore. I'm gonna guess the Frozen Descent. Altar of Blood. What? I don't know. We're not clear. What? It's a Nazi zombies survival map within the Tortured Path. Okay. So it was a part of the 3. Interesting. I didn't realize that they broke out those maps as survival maps. Oh, AW. A lot of Advanced Warfare on this list. I think it was called like Biohazard. Maybe just Bio? Biolab. It was Biolab, right? Advanced Warfare. Biolab. Dude, I'm rocking this thing, man. I'm fucking good at this. Fuck. This is clearly like a COD 2 map. It reminds me of the Vanguard map, Damansk. Was that map a remake? Because I know they remade a bunch. They remade Castle and Dome. Those were both from World at War. It's possible that Damansk was also a remake, but from an older COD game, so no one really talked about it. You'd think someone would talk about it, though, right? It's just so similar to Damansk. I gotta say Damansk. As far as what game, I'm just gonna guess COD 2. Call of Duty 1, so not quite. Purge Gen. Interesting. Okay, swing and a miss on that one then. Jeez. Oh, and actually, hate to go out on such a shit note as that, but hey, I got that many points. That's, I believe that's 71? 71 out of 99? That isn't terrible. So let me know, did you guys beat my score? Were there any on here that, you totally did not know? Let me know. Anyway, obviously the answer to the question, can you name every single Call of Duty map? The answer is no. I can name about 70% of them. And hey, you know what? 72's passing. And after all, isn't Call of Duty all about stuff that's just passable? That's where I'll end today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Our channel members are listed right here. And it is 1 o'clock in the morning. I just realized that when I turned. I want to go to bed.
Hello, I'm Laserpig. Recently, my inbox has been inundated with links to this article. Britain's Challenger 3 might already be outdated. This is brought to us by Military Watch magazine, an opinion blog with questionable origins masquerading as a news source that once proudly stated that Ukraine had lost 27 of its donated M1A1 Abrams tanks at the Battle of Avdiivka and surrounding areas back in 2023, based entirely on Russian propaganda numbers. It is now almost 2026, and the number of lost M1 Abrams tanks confirmed at the time of recording stands at 22, 3 of which have been returned to service. The article is a watered-down version of an opinion piece released by the UK Defence Journal, stripped of nuance, with references added in about how Russian and Chinese tanks were just, oh, so much better designed, and then given a snappy clickbait title. The objective here should be obvious to anyone, but propaganda works because you want it to be true. And remember, only boomers read the headlines and believe them, not you, because obviously you're a smart boy and you read the article, didn't you? Today I want to address the original article in the UK Defence Journal, which, though posted by its chief founder and editor, George Allison, is actually the work of one Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Crawford, the chief creative officer of his own opinion. Crawford is a former tanker with the 4th Royal Tank Regiment who left the army in 1999, and has even written a book about it. I like Crawford. I've read his book. But unfortunately, he has become the latest victim to something I call HDDS, or Herder Drone Syndrome. Herder Drone Syndrome is the problem faced by professional military opinionists who have a surface-level knowledge on drone warfare, but none of the actual deep understanding on how that warfare has rapidly developed over the past few years to understand how drones may affect things in a future war, or even how it's affecting things currently in Ukraine. Symptoms of HDDS include flashy clickbait titles that proclaim any new technology from tanks to jets is doomed because why spend billions of dollars on a weapon system if a $20 drone can take it out? It makes casual references to the ever-increasing loss of Western tanks on the Ukrainian front, makes grandiose gestures that inflate the actual capability of small FPV drones, and surreptitiously, usually just by not knowing any better, parrot Russian propaganda that all Western tanks are too big and too heavy. It ignores the actual opinions of Ukrainian tank crews and fails to take into account that of the 95 Western tanks that have been lost on the Ukrainian front, very few of those were actually taken out by drones. And of that 95, 73 were highly outdated models that have either since been replaced or are in the process of being replaced. Out of those 73, 71 were models built before 1990, and 21 of those were tanks designed in the 1960s. The actual lessons here is that supplying Ukraine with outdated tanks, limited training, and none of the regular support elements typically enjoyed by other Western nations that are often seen as mandatory to keep those tanks in the fight has meant that their effectiveness has been limited. Ukraine's insight into how these tanks operate in battle conditions are of incredible value, but it does not strike a parallel with what would happen if Germany, Britain, Sweden, or America went to war with Russia. And keep in mind, even under the less than ideal conditions Ukraine fights in, with a comedic list of tanks from various periods and in various states of repair at the time of recording, for every one Western tank they have lost, 43.7 Russian tanks have been destroyed. The second part of HDDS is completely overvaluing the capability and cost of the drones. There are a lot of drones on the Ukrainian front with a lot of different capabilities, none of which cost $20. The drones you buy in your local hobby store cannot simply be fitted with a bomb and driven into a tank. The $20 drones from AliExpress that everyone points to have limited flight range, limited battery life, and most importantly, limited payload. You can't just throw a kilogram of explosive onto something that can barely lift its own battery weight. They can also be jammed quite easily or traced and followed back to the operator without the operator even being aware that that's happening, due to the litany of safety software that these things have due to government regulations. This was something the Ukrainians learned very quickly when they tried this tactic back in 2014 and then again in 2022, when the Russians either jammed those drones, took control of them, or sent one flying back towards the operator, or just showed up with a full assault team and blew them the fuck away. Drones need to be heavily modified before they can be used effectively on the battlefield. Images you've seen of them dropping grenades into the open hatches of vehicles are, for the better part, propaganda. Tanks don't sit around not moving on a battlefield with their hatches open unless they've already been disabled and or abandoned, or are not expecting to be in combat. The simplest of drones currently on the Ukrainian front cost in excess of $400 to make each, and that is with volunteers, 3D printers, and importing the cheapest made parts from Temu. And these factories don't run at a profit. They absorb the full cost through donations, not selling the drones to the military. Things you can get away with in the kind of war Ukraine is fighting, but not something that can be easily replicated in a World War III situation. China might have some opinions if we start trying to buy drone parts from them if we went to war with, say for example, China. An entire industry would therefore need to be replicated, with drone factories producing their own parts, and that comes at significant cost. In the UK, a vast number of drone factories were set up in the hopes of cashing in on the drone military craze, and most of them have failed to expand beyond a single office, 3D printers, small teams of eager 20-somethings, and a dream, simply because, well, firstly, the actual cost of setting up mass production is far greater than first anticipated, especially when one realizes that it's not just drone parts they need, but camera equipment, night vision, thermals, long-range battery packs, and radio equipment capable of resisting interference, triangulation, and interception, most of which is beyond the capability of these companies. Potentially, you could knock the price of production down quite significantly if you got all that set up, and you ignore the cost of paying people who have to put it all together who are not going to work for free. Trust me, it's very tedious and monotonous work. And then the realization that in fact you're a company, and at some point you're going to have to make a profit. All of this is how a $400 drone becomes a $10,000 drone. Even then, those $400 drones carry about enough munitions to kill a person or knock out light vehicles or generally unarmored targets. They did this to one of the trucks I was raising money for last year. That truck was fucked, but everyone inside walked away with their lives. Tanks are traditionally additionally quite a bit more armored than a truck, and generally tend to survive hits a little bit better. I mentioned Ukrainian tank crews earlier. In some of these interviews, they have talked about how tanks generally survive multiple hits from drones because the Russians don't always have access to the heavier munitions required to take them out. Those are considerably more expensive, harder to produce, and considerably more rare, allowing those tanks to race into drone hotspots, take out their target, and withdraw before those munitions arrive. A good example of one of those munitions is the famous Russian Lancet. In a full-time war economy, one of these costs around $20,000 to manufacture, or to put that in perspective, the cost of 5 artillery shells. This is of course assuming Russia is telling the truth when it gives these numbers up and aren't just calculating the cost of materials and not including labor, setup, or the cost of the launcher. The thing about the Lancet is it's a drone in name only. It's technically a loitering munition which have been around for quite some time. Every country has been developing them for the past 10 years, and some of those were given to Ukraine. China has even produced a tank which fires them, much to the delight of this article's author. This is not unusual. Future developments of both the Leopard and the Challenger series will have loitering munition capability, and it was a prime feature of the KF-51 Panther. The Switchblade, currently in use by both the US and the Ukrainian army, costs around $60,000 per unit, with the more dedicated anti-tank version costing somewhere in the region of $100,000 per unit.
Hi, mid-production and quite drunk Laserpig here. So I'm editing this next part out because I kind of went off on this bizarre long tangent about the technical differences between the Switchblade and the Lancet, because for some reason we still live in a world where people who comment on the defense industry still do not understand that there might be a difference in quality between a $20,000 drone built cheaply out of off-the-shelf parts, mostly imported from China, and a $60,000 drone built by a company that used to build unmanned spy planes for the CIA back in the 1980s. But then I need to remember that's the logic of people who know throwing a grenade at a tank won't work, but think if you attach that grenade to a drone, it magically becomes an anti-tank missile. And my fan base is a mite more intelligent than that. Or at least I like to think so. So outside of the technical specifications, what the Switchblade can do over the Lancet in terms of self-scouting, camera quality, stealthiness, general precision versus moving targets, is irrelevant in the current context of trying to prove that cheap drones have made tanks obsolete, which is presumably what this video was at one point about when I sat down to write it, and is now, well, it's this. What you need to know is the Switchblade can be carried by one soldier in a backpack, thrown on the ground and then fired like a mortar within seconds. It's got infrared as standard, it can do a whole bunch of really clever things like guide other Switchblades onto targets or coordinate with other drones and have multiple Switchblades hit multiple different targets simultaneously, you know, to lower the chances of your enemy going, "Oh no, a drone!" and then doing something really wild like taking cover. The Lancet does none of that. It's basically just a TV missile on a catapult. I mean, it's still an effective weapon, and we'll get onto that, but the reason Ukraine is able to get in with the tanks, do the job, and then get out before those things show up is because the Lancet is a very clumsy weapon. It requires a truck to move it around, it's quite large, it's quite heavy, it needs 2 people to set it up, and all of that takes time, and you are vulnerable that entire time you're doing this. You're vulnerable to drones spotting you, you're vulnerable to artillery, and you're just tempting the high Mars of fate. And there is some evidence that Ukrainian troops have been deliberately spooking the Russians by showing up with Western tanks in order to attract those weapons into an area that they're watching in order to kill the operators while they're trying to set these weapons up. To try and alleviate this, Russia has developed these good-to-go multi-launch systems. But again, that needs fixing onto a vehicle, and then you're just adding more complexity to the cost. And I think this, among many other things, is a good example of the constantly spiraling costs of running a weapons project like this. Any weapon system you develop, regardless of how cheaply, is going to be up against a constant war between offense and defense. You're cheap weapon is going to be super effective at first when no one is expecting it and have no ways to defend against it, that as they develop new systems or techniques or tactics against this cheap weapon, then that system is going to gradually become less effective over time and therefore must evolve to remain potent. The Lancet has gone through multiple versions, each time trying to increase its lethality or counter the defenses Ukraine has developed specifically against it, and I'll go on to some of those later. But needless to say, that means the Lancet, though it is estimated at costing roughly $20,000 to manufacture via various Russian reports, it was offered at export at $32,000 back when it was only seeing use in Syria, and now it's no longer offered for export, and that $20,000 number has never been updated as the weapon has grown in complexity. Hi, slightly more sober mid-production laser pick here. A slight correction on the cost. I'm going to keep referring to the Lancet as a $20,000 drone because to change that I'd have to re-record the entire video, and this is meant to be a short, quick video, and I'm not re-recording the whole fucking thing. But the reality is, we don't know how much it actually costs. The only source for the Lancet's cost is a Reuters article, which is quoting what I think is the original export cost of about 3 million rubles, which is $37,000 at the time of recording based on current exchange rates. The only claim for it ever being $20,000 is the Wikipedia article, and that information was added on an account which has now been banned from Wikipedia. As far as I'm aware, it's just never been noticed and corrected. Meaning it has more than likely now matched the Switchblade in terms of cost. You see this again with those cheap $400 drones. A year ago they cost $300 each. But every iteration they need to fly faster, carry bigger payloads, be more durable. So this is kind of my whole shtick against the whole cheap drone argument. Arrows will still kill you, and they are much cheaper than bullets. But their effectiveness on the battlefield might be limited by certain other factors. Rant over, video continue. Now sure, even at the higher end of that, 100k is a far cry away from the millions it would cost to produce one tank. But the reality is we don't actually know how effective, or indeed ineffective, the Lancet has been against tanks. Statistics for the Lancet come primarily from the website lostarmor.info, a Russian website set up to discredit Oryx, which exclusively documents Ukrainian losses and has been accused of labeling Russian losses as Ukrainian ones. In fairness, this might not be the website owner's fault. They did start documenting Russian losses, but were slapped down by the Russian courts for doing so. And they do try to provide sources for each claim, but if you check for sources on its claim numbers, it simply directs you to an endless unorganized page of comments where random users submit footage gathered from Telegram channels, including Russian propaganda ones. Unlike Oryx, there is no verification or way to independently verify each claim outside of wading through hundreds of hours of comments, allowing falsehoods to hide among the noise, made even harder by the sheer amount of decoys Ukraine has deployed and the almost impossibility to tell most of those decoys from the real thing through the grainy images we are presented. This is problematic because, well, Russia has been hyping up the prowess of the Lancet to the extreme. In 2023, a Challenger 2 hit a mine and was abandoned and destroyed by its crew after persistent artillery fire forced them to abandon the recovery process. Russia insisted numerous times it was actually a Lancet that hit the tank, and according to the Ukrainians, the Russians fired numerous Lancets at the tank even after it was a burning hulk. Alright, I've just eaten a sandwich that had way too much cheese in it, so let's get this out of the way. Originally, they were claiming it was the Cornet missile that took it out, which is far more believable until, the Lancet starts to become the propaganda darling, and suddenly it's responsible for everything. There's actually a small rumor. I'm going to address it here. This is the second Challenger 2 that gets taken out, which was apparently blown up by a Lancet, and this is what happened to it. But in the same area, a Lancet hits a T-64 and does this. See, the actual capability of the Lancet is really widely varied, and it's kind of led to this rumor that because there isn't really different variants with different payloads like there is with the Switchblade, that the Russians are flying around regular drones disguised as Lancets to make it look like the weapon is far more numerous than it actually is. But that's just a rumor, But while there's a picture of the Challenger on the screen, because nothing upsets the Vatniks more than pictures of British tanks, I've got no idea why. Let me put a random one on the screen. Boom, there we go. At the time of recording, 2 Challenger 2s have been lost. But Wikipedia claims, according to the Tanks of Ukraine Army page, that 4 have been lost. Now, normally, I wouldn't bring this up, but a lot of people keep messaging me to say, aha! 4 challengers have been lost! What do you think of that, pig? This is the voice that I use for all the haters that message me on Discord and crap. That's what you sound like in my head, except more whiny. I just can't be bothered doing the full voice right now. I'm full of cheese. Anyway, this is the only source that I could find for that number. So, could you all just go ahead and just check the sources for that number, please? Just go ahead and look at them. Because 2 of them are the same footage reported on different WebSlop websites. And the third isn't even a picture of a Challenger 2. You do know I actually check this shit, right? I don't just believe you when you say this shit. But hey ho, apparently I'm the one that doesn't check their sources. I could just edit this myself and correct it, but Wikipedia editors get really, really uppity whenever a YouTuber wanders in, so I find it's easier just to whine about it in a video, cause they'll fix it. They always do. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
The footage of the supposed Lancet attack that took it out has never been publicly released. This makes judging the actual effectiveness of the Lancet quite difficult and prone to very dramatic arguments. The likelihood is the Lancet is probably a fairly effective weapon, but likely not for the reason you think. When it comes to precision munitions, Russian troops have very few options readily available, and as a result, the Lancet has been used in a variety of roles to fill the gaps, taking the place of artillery and counter-battery, as well as more traditional support elements, as combat losses sustained in Ukraine have severely diminished the Russian army's ability to rely on its support elements, in particular artillery and aircraft. In the later stages of 2022, in response to Ukraine's increased counter-battery effectiveness, the Russians began pulling hordes of towed artillery out of storage, some of which dated as far back as the Second World War. Yet, with the limited ability to retain these units in service,
Oh damn, this has been on for fucking so long and I...
recently my inbox has
Oh.
Britain's Challenger 3 might already be outdated. This is brought to us by Military Watch magazine, an opinion blog with practical margins masquerading as a news source that once proudly stated that Ukraine had lost 27 undefeated M1A1 Abrams tanks at the Battle of Avdiivka and surrounding areas back in 2023, based entirely on Russian propaganda numbers. It is now almost 2026, and the number of lost M1 Abrams tanks confirmed at the time of recording stands at 22.
I cannot get them for
Service. The article is a watered-down version of an opinion piece released by the UK Defense Journal, stripped of nuance, with references added in about how Russian and Chinese tanks were just so much better designed, and then given us
This is what I
the
need.
objective here should be obvious to anyone, but propaganda works because you want it to be true. And remember, only boomers read the headlines and believe them, not you, because obviously you're a smart boy. You read the article.
Does that sound
To address the original article in the UK Defense Journal, which, though hosted by its chief founder and editor, George Allison, was actually read to one Lieutenant Colonel Stuart. But unfortunately, he has become the latest victim to something I call HDDS, or herder drones.
I feel powerful!
Herder drone syndrome is the problem faced by professional military opinionists who have a surface-level knowledge
Without
on
proper
warfare,
ammo,
but
I
none of the
cannot give
actual
them proper
deep understanding on how that warfare has rapidly developed over the past few years to understand how drones may affect things in a future war, or even how it's affecting things currently in Ukraine. Symptoms of HDDS include flashy clickbait titles that proclaim any new technology from tanks to jets is doomed because why spend billions of dollars on a weapon system if a 20-buck drone can kick it out? It makes casual references to the ever-increasing loss of Western tanks on the Ukrainian front, makes grandiose gestures that inflate the actual capability of small FPV drones, and surreptitiously, knowing any better, parrot Russian propaganda that all Western tanks are too big and too dead.
I know that the
Ignores the
restrictions
actual
around here.
abilities of Ukrainian tank crews and fails to take into account that all of the 91 Western tanks that have been lost on the Ukrainian front, very few of those were actually taken out by drones. 21 were models built before 1990, and 21 of those were tanks designed in the 1960s. The actual lesson here is that supplying Ukraine with outdated tanks, limited training, and none of the regular support elements typically enjoyed by other Western nations that are often seen as mandatory to keep those tanks in the fight has meant that their effectiveness has been limited. Ukraine's insight into how these tanks operate in battle conditions are of incredible value, but it does not strike a parallel with what would happen if Germany, Britain, Sweden, or America went to war with Russia. And keep in mind, even under the less than ideal conditions Ukraine fights in, with the comedic list of tanks from various periods and in various states of repair, at the time of recording, for every one Western tank they have lost, 43 civil Russian tanks have lost. The second part of HDDS is completely overvaluing the capability and cost of the drones. There are comes with a lot of different capabilities, none of which cost $20. The drones you buy in
No, I'm a fucking idiot, bro.
fitted with a bomb and driven into a tank. The $20 drones from AliExpress that everyone points to have limited flight range, limited battery life, and most importantly, limited payload. I don't think he has any more explosive onto something that can barely lift its own battery weight. They can also be jammed easily or traced and folded back to the operator without the
Oh,
software that these things have due to government regulations. This was something the Ukrainians learned very, very quickly when they tried this tactic back in 2015, and then again in 2022 when the Russians jammed those drones, took control of them, or sent one flying back towards the operator, or just
no power.
Drones need to be heavily modified before they can be used effectively.
Gets me every time.
Images you've seen of them dropping grenades into the open hatches of vehicles are, for the
Usually
better
the
part,
voices sound so
propaganda.
angry.
Tanks don't sit around not moving on a battlefield with their hatches open unless they've already been disabled and abandoned, or are not expecting to be in combat. The simplest of drones currently on the Ukrainian front cost in excess of importing critical parts from Poland. These factories don't run at a profit. They absorb the full cost of donations, not selling the drones to the military. Things you can get away
I know
with
the
in the kind of war
dissections around
Ukraine is
here.
fighting, but not something that can be easily replicated in a more situation. China might have some opinions if we start trying to buy drone parts from them if we went to war with, say for example, China. An entire industry would therefore need to be replicated, with drone factories producing their own parts, and that comes with big cost. In the UK, a vast number of drone factories were set up in the hopes of cashing in the drone military craze, and most of them have failed to expand beyond single office 3D printers, small teams of eager 20-somethings, and dreams. Because, well, firstly, the actual cost of setting up mass production is far greater than first anticipated, especially when one realizes that it's not just drone parts they need, but camera equipment, night vision, long-range battery packs, and radio equipment capable of resisting interference, triangulation, and interception, most of which is beyond the capability of these companies. Potentially, you could knock the price of production down quite significantly if you got all that set up.
The ammo is low.
People who together who are not
That sounds
very smart. And then the realization that in fact you're a company, and at some point you're going to have to make a profit. All of this is how a $400 drone becomes a $10,000 drone. Even then, those $400 drones carry about enough munitions to kill a person or knock out light vehicles or generally unarmored targets. They did this to one of the trucks I was raising money for last year. That truck was fucked, but everyone inside walked away with their lives. Tanks are traditionally quite a bit more armored than a truck, and generally tend to survive better. I mentioned Ukrainian tank fleets earlier, and some of the have talked about how tanks generally survive multiple hits from drones because the Russians don't have access to the heavy ammunition to take them out. Those are considerably more expensive, harder to produce, and considerably more rare, allowing those tanks to race into different hotspots, take out their target, and withdraw before those munitions arrive. A good example of one of those munitions is the famous Russian Lancet. In a full-time war economy, one of these costs around $10,000 for it, to put that in perspective, the cost of 5 artillery shells. This is a place where Russia is telling the truth when it gives these numbers up and aren't just calculating the cost of materials and not including labor set up or the cost of the launcher.
Gets me every time.
Lancet is a drone only against munitions which have been around for quite some time. Every country has been developing them for years, and some of those were given to Ukraine. China has even
Whoa.
produced a tank which This is not unusual. Future developments of both the Leopard and the Challenger series will have loitering munition capability, and it was a prime feature of the KF-51 Panther. The Switchblade, currently in use by both the US and Ukrainian Army, costs around 60,000 per unit. The more dedicated
points,
anti-tank
double the
version
death.
costing somewhere in the region of $100,000 per unit.
Hi, mid-production and quite drunk. So I'm editing this next part out because I kind of went off on this bizarre long tangent about the technical differences between the Switchblade and the Lancet, because for some reason we still live in a world where people who comment on the defense industry still do not understand that there might be a difference in quality between a $20,000 China and a $60,000 drone built by a company that used to build unmanned spy planes for the CIA back in the
The wretched screams of the dead fill my heart with joy!
Then I need to remember that's the logic of people who know a grenade at a tank won't work, but think if you attach that grenade to a drone, it magically becomes an anti-tank missile. And my fan-based drone might be able to do that. At least I'd like to think. So outside of the technical specifications, what the Switchblade can do in terms of self-scouting, camera quality, stealth,
This weapon is empty!
moving targets is irrelevant in the current context of trying to prove that cheap drones have made tanks obsolete, which is presumably what this video was at one point about when I was delighted it was now. Well, what you need to know is the Switchblade can be carried by one soldier in a backpack, thrown on the ground, and then fired as a mortar.
Without proper ammo, I cannot give them close death!
Rocket approaching really clever things like guide other Switchblades onto
I shall
targets,
take their body
coordinate
apart
with other
piece by
drones,
piece.
have multiple Switchblades hit multiple different targets simultaneously, to lower the chances of your enemy going, oh no, a drone, and then doing something really wild after taking cover. That's what it does. It's basically just an MTV missile with automatic cannon.
It bounces off me and sticks on you! Oh, it's
The reason initiating lunar navigation systems, awaiting security protocols.
empty! You steal my ammo!
Truck to move around, it's quite large, it's quite heavy,
The little demon boy!
and all of that takes time, and you're vulnerable that entire time you're doing this. You're vulnerable to drones spotting you, you're vulnerable to artillery, and you're just tempting the high margin of fate. And there is some evidence that Ukrainian troops have been deliberately spooking the Russians by showing up with Western tanks in order to attract those weapons into the area that they're watching, in order to kill the operators while they're trying to set things up. To try to minimize this, Russia has developed this good-to-go
Oh,
launch
now the
system.
blood will
But again,
flow!
that needs fixing
Oh,
into the vehicle,
wunderbar!
and then you're just adding more complexity to the cost. And I think this
Show me more!
is a good example of the cost
I will teach you!
weapons project like this. Any weapon system, regardless of is going to be up against a constant offense. Your cheap weapon is going to be super effective at first, but no one is expecting it, have no ways to defend against it. As they develop more,
Pain is wonderful! Dirty! Dirty must die! The pieces are everywhere! Nice try!
But needless to say, that means the Lancet, though it is estimated at costing roughly $20,000 to manufacture via Russian reports, it was offered at export at
The explosion is
back when it was
tense.
only seen in use in Syria, and now it's no longer offered for export, and that $20,000 never been updated as the weapon has complexity. I have a slightly more silver mint should laser pick here. As slightly $1,000 drone because the case that re-record the entire video.
Hey, zombie, got the time? I doubt it.
I think the reality is we don't know how much it actually costs. The only source for than likely now match the Switchblade in terms of cost. You see this again with those cheap $400 drones. A year ago they cost $300 each, but every iteration they need to fly faster, carry bigger payloads, be more durable. So this is kind of my whole shtick against it.
He lost his arm.
Will still kill you, and they are much cheaper than those. But their effectiveness on the battlefield might be limited by certain other factors.
Hide your teeth! Happening!
Now sure, even rendered them players are far away from the millions of
Do you hear that bang?
the reality is we don't actually know how effective or indeed ineffective the Lancet has been against tanks. Statistically, the Lancet come primarily from the website armor.info, a Russian website set up to describe Oryx, which exclusively losses to launching losses as Ukrainian ones. In fairness, this and they do try to provide sources for each claim, but if you check for sources or numbers, it simply directs you to an endless comments where random users submit footage gathered from Telegram channels, including Russian propaganda ones. Unlike Oryx, there is no verification or way to independently verify each claim outside of wading through hundreds of hours of comments, allowing falsehoods to hide among the noise, made even harder by the sheer amount of decoys Ukraine has deployed and the almost impossibility to tell most of those decoys from the real thing through the grainy images we are presented. This is problematic because, well, Russia has been hyping up the premise of the Lancet to the extreme. In 2023, a Challenger 2 hit a mine and was abandoned and destroyed by its crew after persistent artillery fire forced them to abandon the recovery process. Russia insisted numerous times it was actually a Lancet that hit the tank, and according to the Ukrainians, the Russians fired numerous Lancets at the tank even after it was a burning hulk. Alright, I've just eaten a sandwich. Originally, they were claiming it was the Hornet missile that took it out, which is far more believable until, the Lancet starts to become the propaganda darling, and suddenly it's responsible for everything. There's actually a small point of progressive here. This is the second Challenger that gets taken out, which was apparently fighting that Lancet, and this is what happens, right? Within the same area, a Lancet hits a T-64 and does this. So the actual capability of the Lancet is really widely varied, and it's kind of led to this rumor that because there's different variants with different payloads that each of them hits it, the Russians are flying around regular drones
It has
disguised
Stopka in the title, just like me! Oh, the little stumpy bunch to play. It's warm! It's warm and it's on my neck! Nice try!
I wouldn't break this. What do you think of that, Mac?
Yes, that's come to you, my children!
That's what you sound like on Anyway, this is the only source that I could find for that number. So, I'll just go ahead and just check the sources for that
That
number.
little head
Warning, free entry detected. All security personnel.
Yeah! Send me more
And the
patience!
third is
Little treats from the sky!
I don't just believe when you say it. Hell, apparently, I'm the one that doesn't check. I could just edit this myself and correct it, but Wikipedia editors get really, really uppity whenever a YouTuber wanders in, so I find it's easier just to whine about it in a video, cause they'll fix it. They always do. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The footage of the supposed Lancet attack that took it out is released. This makes judging the actual effectiveness of the
It's like
Lancet
mowing a lawn of
prone to
flesh!
very dramatic arguments. The likelihood is the Lancet is technically a fairly effective weapon, but likely not for the reason you think.
More ammo! More
When it comes to precision munitions, Russian troops have very few options readily available, and as a result,
Security level
Lancet
normalized.
has been
System
used in a
defenses
variety of ways
offline.
to fill the gaps, taking the place of artillery and counter-battery.
Oh, the inside of your head is delicious!
Severely diminish the Russian army's ability to support elements. Take
Oh, now the blood will flow! Oh, wunderbar!
From bombing cities is an old World War II propeller plane with a machine gun on the back. Hi, me again. Okay, so it's not actually a World War II plane, it's a Yak-52. It's an old Soviet acrobatic plane built in Romania during the 1970s.
I mean, just look at the damn thing. I mean, come on!
But they have found that the most effective defense is to simply put a big target. So-called
Not as accurate as my formulas, but it will do.
First wave of Ukrainian attacks, for all the hilarity we have caused, have proven to be quite effective. Russia was forced to introduce a newer, more updated version of the Lancet, which contained additional
We
sensors.
will make wondrous music together.
The cost of this new unit has never been fully revealed, and its effectiveness remains mired in the practical logic of propaganda. However, what has been revealed is Ukraine has the ability to
This weapon will do.
Lancets quite easily. Because jamming equipment is now so prevalent, it requires forces on both sides of attacking drones to cycle through frequencies trying to find the conditions to jam. I'll get onto that in a bit because it is quite important, and another thing suffering with GDX. On the first day's Lancets were being used en masse, the Russians were forced to stop jamming the frequency.
Do not toy with me, Box!
Instead, the Ukrainians would simply cycle through frequencies, find the one that wasn't being jammed, and then jam it themselves, causing the Lancets to just fall out of the sky. In a response, the Russians are now forced to turn off their jamming systems when firing at Lancet to prevent the Ukrainians from figuring out the frequency. This not only makes them exceedingly vulnerable to Ukrainian return fire, it also pre-warns the Ukrainians that Lancets are on the way when all Russian jamming equipment suddenly turns off. Equipment which does exist to prevent things like this, which every tech pro knows about and is probably screaming at the street in defiance over, is expensive, and therefore not something you find on a $400 drone or a weapon that's designed to be cheap like the Lancet or the Shaheed. Jammers are of course specialists in anyway, but at the end of the day they are just screaming barrel from being used by anything else nearby. They require a lot of power and can typically only scream in one frequency. The idea behind them that these so-called beasts move ahead of the assault, blocking drones from the advancing ones behind. The effectiveness of this has to be questionable. Now you might think the best defense against this is to simply help the drone change frequencies. And you're right, but changing frequencies isn't as easy as pressing a button or shutting the dial. In fact, in most cases, the aerial assembly has to be completely ripped off and replaced with one with a near frequency answer. Drones aerial low.
Drop job!
This is another drawback of the cheap drone assembly. Most modular frequency modules are only able to change frequency on the fly. If needed, sometimes the drone automatically picking one that is not actively being jammed is quite expensive, and another reason for things like the superglide are more expensive than the Lancet. That's the only
That's a fun boat spot! Where does this man with the hammer hide?
The real counter to
Not dead, will be quick!
sides has been to simply
Now to
not
define some
all large spools of fiber optic cabling is used in drones, which makes them immune to jamming systems or the operator being so easily manipulated. The added benefit of
The pieces! The pieces are everywhere!
ignition without having to risk a higher latency connection. These drones have caused all kinds of hell for both sides. To the point
Without
where
proper
parts of the
ammo,
front
I
lines
cannot give
are
them
losing
proper
because
death.
of so far, Ukraine's best defense against them has been barbed wire, sometimes attached to a motor, which causes it to spin, entangling the fiber optic cabling of those drones passing overhead and causing it to snap. However, the best defense against those drones simply remains a big cage. On the front
The
lines
step
of
one
both
is empty.
sides, supply routes are now covered in large arc structures, a coop cage supreme, if you will, that prevent drones attacking convoys and supply trucks, and both sides from
More bullets, more dead.
Lie in wait across the road, ambushing any vehicles they find. This has led to Ukraine medevac to supply trucks in order
The
to
Gersh
mitigate the
device.
damage caused by these drones. In much the same way, US and British forces in Iraq are forced to up-armor their patrol vehicles with IEDs. Of course, Ukraine, clumsily stating that you need to up-armor everything to make it harder for drones to take you out, is of course ignored by supporters of APDS, because if they
There's nothing like having one in each hand.
armored, it makes total sense. But if you're trying to push the Russian propaganda narrative that Western tanks are too big and too heavy, then this is a part of reality that you have to ignore. Of course, Ukraine's best counter to drones surprisingly remain, all radar-guided anti-air systems from the Cold War. Because of the way they are designed, drones have a relatively high radar cross-section for their size. Modern-day stealth fighters, despite being hundreds of times bigger, actually have smaller radar cross-sections than modern-day drones, meaning they can be easily picked up by radar systems. Mobile anti-air systems like the CotD have proven exceedingly effective at taking them down, meaning to avoid systems like this, drones have to fly low to the ground.
This does not suit my genius.
Considerably harder. When you're operating wild weasel attacks with drones, you have limited battery life to play with, and by the time you've gotten to a target area, you're more than likely to just take the first target of opportunity you see, as opposed to try and hunt for the bigger fish and risk your battery going flat, which guys standing out in the
I
open,
will find
it's
this
the
box and with its gifts
$400
destroy you all.
with the tank camouflaged in the forest next to
They
it.
will shut up before me.
This is, of course, just on the Ukrainian front, where funds are limited and results are needed immediately. In countries not affected by this war, which includes every country in the world outside of Russia,
Fuck, that was a lucky get.
funding and time for testing is in ample supply. Electronic warfare
Now I can
systems
get them
have
from
proven
both
quite
sides.
effective
By
against things
myself!
like all forms, but EW
Oh.
systems
Gotta go.